Okay. Oh, shush up, you guys. So,
Puppies being opinionated today, are they?
well, yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
Okay.
I need a good 8 month period of no puppies. That's what I need.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So, all right. And folks, if you could share these links out, on Facebook to your followers or whatever, that would be fantastic. Um, and on X, YouTube and all that stuff, that would be fantastic. Because when we look at things, this huge lens, right, kind of like the outside looking in, it kind of opens up your mind a little bit, opens up doors that you didn't know were there. So, uh, all right, you ready for this, Hawk?
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
All right, man. So, very first thing is I'm going to go over the post I made a few days ago. It was a 5-part post. I just kind of want to go over it a little bit because it can be confusing. Um, I'm not going to say it's not because it kind of is. So, all right. So, just to kind of put things in context here, and that didn't work. All right. So, on Friday, when I was talking about the 32 CFR 11.4, 11.5, and 11.6, uh, I didn't really go into a lot of detail about it because I wanted to go into more depth about it in here because I have a tendency to want to talk about things more in writing because it's easier for me than what it is actually speaking. So, part one, and I'll share this link with everybody so that way everybody can see it.
Hey, we're doing a program over here. Knock it off. Not everything's about you guys.
Oh, but Hawk, everything's about the puppies.
No.
All right, so part one, just something to think about here. Title 32 CFR Chapter 1, Section 11.5 defines enemy as any entity with which the United States or allied forces may be engaged in armed conflict, or, and that's an or, which is preparing to attack the United States. It is not limited to foreign nations or military organizations or members thereof. Enemy specifically includes any organization of terrorists with international reach. Take a minute and reflect on that. What has everyone learned about the Clinton Foundation? Ukraine, overthrowing of 4 years ago. This can also be applied to the Summer of Love in 2020. Follow the thread and reflect for the questions at the end. So if we look at this, I actually put in the the actual text and highlighted what it says about enemy, so you guys can see that.
Make it full screen.
I don't know how to do that on the.
Just click the box all the way over to the right.
All the way over to the right.
See all the boxes underneath, directly underneath our window that
Yeah.
we're in. Okay, go to the one all the way to the right.
Oh, wrong one.
No, not that. No. Okay. So you got the viewing box,
Yeah.
right? Okay, underneath the viewing box, you see there's like 7 boxes underneath there.
No.
Right next to where our pictures are down below for backstage.
Oh, yeah. Right here. I see
All
it.
the way through. There you go. Make
I
it
see
easy.
it. I thought you were talking about on the
Yeah. Now, if you want to make that
picture
full
itself.
screen in order to make sure that the text is big enough for everybody to see it, right click on it and then open image in new tab.
Okay.
And that will make it literally full screen, and it makes it so that everybody can read it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So just right click on the picture itself.
There we go. Oh, wait. Dang it.
And then you just got to click that tab.
There it is. All right. Okay. Share this tab instead.
Yeah, look at that.
All right. So this is under 11.5, and I have it highlighted right here. So it's literally word for word of what I put in the first post. So, and once again, this is coming from 11 CFR, or not 11 CFR, 32 CFR, chapter 1, section 11.5. So this, see, 11.5. This is literally word for word of what I put in post. So, and the part that really sticks out to me is enemy specifically includes any organization of terrorists with international reach. So I would consider the Clinton Foundation terrorists. I mean, look at all the human rights violations that we've found out about them. Okay. And I would also say that about the Soros Foundation, the Gates Foundation, about a lot of them. Right. So I mean, there's a lot. So now if we go back to this, okay, and we go to the next part 2, if we look at this from the end of 11.5 under H, the should have known paragraph, it states that the facts and circumstances were such that a reasonable person in the accused position would have known or would have had the relevant knowledge of awareness. So there's that knowingly, okay? We've heard that knowingly before. So, and knowingly, think about the 2020 incidents. Okay, there was a lot, right? A lot. So we have the COOF. We have the mail-in ballot schemes. What else was there? Oh, the Summer of Love. So we have that once again, and all of that can fall under 11.5. So let me open this in a new tab, and I'll read it word for word. So, should have known the facts and circumstances were such that a reasonable person in the accused position would have had the relevant knowledge of awareness. Like I said, there's that knowingly thing again. So here we, I hope it's all kind of starting to take shape a little bit. So we go to part 3. Now, speaking of the mail-in ballot scheme, it was brought about by the COOF in 2020. And what is being released now, what has everyone learned? That not only the COOF, but the origin story, inflated numbers, and etc., but also the jabs. Okay? Sorry, Huck, I'm trying to use different language so that way they don't.
Yep. Nope. You go ahead. You're doing all right.
That way they don't bust you, So if we look at the start of 11.6, employing poison or analogous weapons, and that's under subsection 8 of 11.6. All right. So let me open this up. Take that down just a little bit. There we go. The accused employed a substance or weapon that releases a substance as a result of its employment. The substance was such that exposure thereto causes death or serious damage to health in the ordinary course of events through its asphyxiating, poisonous, or bacteriological properties. Hawk, have we heard that before?
Maybe once or twice. That's just once or twice. That's all. It hasn't been shoved down our throat or anything like that.
No, of course not. So the accused employed the substance or weapon with the intent of utilizing such asphyxiating, poisonous, or bacteriological properties as a method of warfare. All right, we've been told many, many times we're at war with the deep state, right? I'm just saying, warfare doesn't always have to be kinetic. The accused knew, see, there's that knowingly again, or should have known of the nature of the substance or weapon. The conduct took place in the context of and was associated with armed conflict. Once again, conflict does not have to be kinetic. But once again, there's that knowingly also. Okay, knowingly. We've heard that quite a bit, right? So, question of the hour, and I brought this up in my post. Okay, could that be why the pharma requested immunity? Because they knowingly knew what the risks were? And what about Mr. Fraudchi or Fauci? I call him Fraudchi. Could that be why he is very evasive about what he says? Because he knew it, he had to gain a function research. I'm just saying, folks. What do you think about that, Hawk?
Well, that little. I'm trying to be nice. Maybe I shouldn't answer that.
No, go ahead and answer it, man.
Okay, weasel. We'll call him a weasel. That little weasel is going to get it. The trap's been set for him already, and he's going to pay. And the thing is it's going to be a with him it has to be tribunal. It has to be, because we already know that our internal court and justice system is defunct and incapable of honoring their oaths or abiding by any law whatsoever. So we know that the weasel needs to see a tribunal. Period. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. And that the thing is it should have happened all the way back in the 1980s. When with the spread of the HIV. That's you should have hung all the way back then.
I just want to add this too, because this is also found in there under subsection C. The use of the substance or weapon at issue must be prescribed under the law of armed conflict, which was not. It may include.
Well, you got to back up there, okay? Because of the fact that we were under a national emergency, so it kind of does fall under under a governmental act. Yeah. So it wouldn't fall under regular jurisprudence. It would actually fall under because under a national emergency, that would have made it almost military.
Right. And I'm going to go into that here in a minute, because that too is covered under the Law of War Manual, the new version that just came out in 23.
Yeah.
So let me get through these posts real quick, and I'm going to have you take over for a minute, Hawk. I got to call my wife.
Oh, okay.
She just messaged me.
All right. Well, let me do a share screen real quick though before you walk away, so that way then I can go ahead and run through some of my X list.
Okay.
While you're doing that, how's that sound?
That works for me. And right before I call, pull it up. How's that sound?
Yeah, I already got it. All I got to do is pull it up on screen.
All right. So then if we look at part 4, what I was saying, let's fast forward to January 6, 2021. After and I have in quotes, government, or I would define them as the occupation, has arrested a lot of folks that they have determined were part of the Capitol building shenanigans, yet on multiple occasions have been called out by numerous others for having planted people in the crowd, which actually inflamed an already hot situation. Now, the folks that were arrested, some took deals through what I would believe to be coercion. Others, however, have not been released or even afforded their constitutional right to due process. I would say that this would make them essentially hostages of the occupation. With that being said, if we look at 7 in the screenshot below, this would mean that the occupation 1 seized, detained, and are holding these folks as hostages. 2, look at the injuries and deaths that were inflicted on January 6, 2021, and the continued detainment of said persons. And 3, look at C, and this is where the coercion comes in with the details and testimonies of the sham January 6th committee. So I'm do it this way. I'm trying to put this together for everybody so that way.
Oh. We're not seeing anything, right? It's just you and me on the screen.
I do now. I thought it was up. All right, so let me take this down a little bit here. All right, so under 7, taking hostages, the elements, the accused seized, detained, or otherwise held hostage 1 or more persons. Okay, think about that with the January 6th stuff. The accused threatened to kill, injure, or continue to detain such persons. And that, once again, we have those people, that are in the gulags there in DC. And also look at the people that took deals. All right. This is where the coercion comes in. The accused attended to compel a state, an international organization, or a natural or legal person or a group of persons to act or refrain from acting in an explicit or implicit condition for the safety or release of such person or persons. The conduct took place in context of and was associated with armed conflict. So, once again, here we go. This is why I'm considering these folks hostages right here. It pretty much lays it out in this CFR, which, by the way, if you go to the ECFR website, all of this is restricted. You can't get to it. The only reason I was able to, this is a something that somebody put up on a different website. So
you do realize that right now, the entirety of the American population is being held hostage.
Yes.
Just wanted to make that clear.
Yes. But I use January 6th as an example because it is a bigger spectacle. And people would be able to relate a lot to it versus if I came out and said, oh, the whole country's being held hostage, even though you and I know that. The average person doesn't. So now let me go back to 5. But I know exactly what you're saying, and you are 100% correct. In part 5, the final part, with all this, oh, I got to share this tab instead. With all this being said, can everyone agree that there is a deep state and that we, the people, are in conflict with it? Number 2, so with this conflict, can everyone agree that with the law section set forth in the previous posts above, that we are being shown what laws are being broken along with the constitutional laws that the deep state is willing to break? So, I mean, now Mr. Sciatica had posted something in here. I agree with you, Slow Country, 100%. The question is,
that guy, he's a troublemaker.
where do we go from here? And I said, just some food for thought. I also thought that all of this is relevant to what we've been seeing. We had to see what they were knowingly breaking the law. We had to see that they weren't in line with the people plan. So with that, Hawk, I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes. That way I can call my wife.
Okay. Go call your wife. He's going to call his wife. All right. Let's start off with little Charlie Kirk. Stephen 2A, God, Family, and Country, says, this is 100% true. My oldest had to take the history of hip hop. This is one of the things going on in the colleges right now.
So everyone in the audience here, how many of you have had to take classes that are a waste of time that you wish you didn't have to take, that are a waste of money, and that every single hand goes up? Look around, look around, look around, look around. They're scamming every kid in this audience. They are forcing them to take classes that make them poorer, that take up their time in order to get the credential. That is an institutional scam. And by the way, every other part of life is all about your own customization. Your Netflix account, how you get your burrito bowl, from how you dress, your Amazon cart is you are in charge. But you come to college and they say you must go take these 3, 4, 5 classes that are very expensive, especially for you out-of-state students, to go further into debt, study things that don't matter, to find jobs that don't exist. That sounds like a scam. So everyone in the audience here, how many of you...
You know, gender studies, that's a big one. That's a big one. But it's the history of hip hop. Can you imagine having to learn the history of hip hop? Let me tell you, the history of hip hop shows me that, it's just not cool. All right. Keeping going on here. So Colin Rugg says, new 29 people arrested after a 500-person brawl took place in a Florida parking lot. The group decided to riot after their planned after party got canceled at Astroscape. The skating rink requires groups to hire an off-duty deputy for private parties, which the group didn't do. After their party was canceled and refunded, the group reportedly called for people to come and riot at the business and confront law enforcement. The group then rioted and assaulted people, damaged businesses, and stole. 23 juveniles were arrested, 6 adults. This is the kind of thing that's going on. It's ridiculous. And we don't need to see any more of that because, you know, we know how it goes. We know the games. All right. But got a few of these. Former AG of Florida, Pam Bondi, Prior to being an attorney general of Florida, I was a career prosecutor for 18 years.
Prior to being Attorney General of Florida, I was a career prosecutor for 18 years. I prosecuted hundreds of jury trials in a courtroom very similar to the one today. Yet I've never seen anything like this. A judge is supposed to be a neutral arbiter of facts. First of all, this case was declined by many years from the Southern District of New York, by the Department of Justice, by multiple jurisdictions. Yet they bring it on the heels of a presidential election.
Yep. Just election interference is basically what it boils down to. Yeah. And there's more. I got more of those. Actually, I should just go ahead and go up here and click on this here and get into these other ones. Kyle Becker says the fact that Michael Cohen, was never charged with larceny is important because stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be a larceny felony in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business record. So Trump's accusers are the real criminals. Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
The way this was raised and addressed on direct is what Julia Louis-Dreyfus would call yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. I mean, here's what Michael Cohen said.
I think that was George Costanza.
No.
Was it?
It was Elaine.
It was Elaine.
Really?
Yeah. It was Elaine. Like yada yada
Let's
yada.
debate it longer. I like this.
But here's the direct testimony, the way Michael Cohen explained what happened.
It's actually a girl that Costanza was dating. But okay, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
there you go. Michael Cohen explained this whole thing, quote, that's what was owed, and I didn't feel Mr. Trump deserved the difference. That's a lot different than I stole $60,000 from my boss on the transaction at the heart of this case. And by the way, the fact that he was never charged with larceny is important because stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be larceny in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business records.
This is one of
Yep. Yep. Even CNN has to report it. Yep. All right. Jesse Waters sat down with former leader of New York Hells Angels, Chuck Zito, went to court today to support Trump. He says Trump's a savage. Let's check it out.
Actor and former leader of Hells Angels, Chuck Zito, joins me now. What was it like in court today?
It was pretty wild. I couldn't believe it. Everything they were trying to do, the judge said, sustain, strike that. I'm not accepting this. It was crazy. But then President Trump's attorney got on, and when he was cross-examining Michael Cohen, and he says, last week you said you lie under oath for your personal gain. Do you lie under oath for your personal gain? I said, this guy's not going to. He says, yes. I'm saying, I was ready to yell out, dismiss this case. It's over.
All right. So he gets him to admit that he's lying for money.
Absolutely.
And he's got him to admit that he's stealing from his client, and he's recording his client's phone calls. Was it as cold in the courtroom as everybody says? Trump today called it a refrigerator.
I didn't feel like it was cold.
Because you got a lot of ice on your wrist. And you got a little ice on your pinky. Show everybody what you got going on here. Can we see this? He might not walk out of here in Manhattan after that. All right. Why did you show up today to show your love?
I would always support President Trump. We know each other over 40 years. I fought in the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. So we go back a long time. I'll always support him. He's the greatest president of my lifetime. I'll tell you that. And you know what? He don't even need all this to go through it. He's doing it for the American people in America, not for himself. He wants to make this country great again with all these, 20 million illegal aliens came over the border. They emptied all their prisons, sent them over here. And he's doing it for the American people. But I'll tell you, he's a trooper, man. He's nothing fazes him. He's like, he doesn't care. We were in the jury room before and after. We had lunch there. And he goes, imagine this is what I have to go through. I should be campaigning. I should be getting ready for my debates. But this is what they're putting me through. What are you going to do? He's going, nothing fazes him. I thought I was a tough guy. This guy's a savage, man.
What'd you guys have for lunch?
They had a bunch of pizza pies, a bunch of everything, and I'm still training, so I only had one slice and a bottle of water.
All right.
But I just can't believe what he's going through.
It's unbelievable.
And like it says, he said he lied on the stand, and we're talking millions. He's saying he made $5 million here, $4 million there, Michael Cohen. And he's been stealing the whole time, making himself money. And not only that, he sells T-shirts.
Right.
With Trump.
And I don't know if you picked up on this because he said he's considering Michael Cohen running for Congress.
Yeah.
Everybody, Michael Cohen, it might run for Congress.
He couldn't
Let
make
that
a dog
sink
catcher.
in. Let
he
it
couldn't
sink
make
in.
a dog catcher. It's
all right.
And then he's saying that they want to do his TV show on him.
Yeah.
Called The Fixer.
The Fixer.
Go figure.
Go figure. All right.
Yeah. It's Cohen's going to do everything he can to make every penny off of everybody else that he possibly can. You know. All right. So Way of the World says, why are Jews at the U.S. southern border helping Africans to get in and telling them not to talk to journalists? So Ben Berkwam's down there with Real America's Voice. Let's take a listen to what he encounters down here. Here we go.
What was that? Oh, no, I can. No, I can. Thank you. What's your name? Are you guys, who are you guys with?
We can answer that question.
Jewish Family Services. So there we go. That's one of them.
That's good.
So why were you telling people not to talk?
Because you're being rude to them.
You're in a free country now. Yeah. Don't let people like this tell you what to do, okay? You're in a free country now. That's what America is, a free country. Is there anyone here from your organization that can talk to us? They're calling somebody. I'm sorry you guys have to see this. Unfortunately, a lot of the organizations that are pretending to help are just making money. These guys make money off of your suffering, unfortunately. So I'm sorry you have to see them. I was having some good conversations with people in line. She went up and rudely told them not to talk to me. I asked her why they shouldn't be talking to me, and she said I was being rude to them. This is it though. You got these controlling communist organizations that then they have people come in through this process. They make money on all this. They get grants from the federal government, which you pay for, taxpayers pay for, and then the people come across. I want to talk to them. We're having a good conversation, and she shuts them down. This is the problem. These organizations are the problem, and they're making millions of dollars. And this whole new CVP1 application process, Biden and Mayorkas are pushing through. It's basically just a way to bypass and change the definition from illegal to legal. Can you tell me what the contract? How many millions of dollars Jewish Family Services is making? Thank you. Hey, great to meet you. Nice to meet you. God bless you. God bless your family. All right. Yes, sir. All right. So there it goes. That's the bus. Just did a quick live. Wanted to show people what's going on here. Again, in this case, it was Jewish Family Services that was given the contract, apparently, to continue the trafficking here. That's the bus heading out to a community near you. We are down here in San Ysidro, port of entry. You've got people coming across claiming fake asylum, turning themselves in, basically distracting Border Patrol and Customs. Then you've got, I've been told that Customs is now having to process. Border Patrol's picking people up, even if they came illegally. They're bringing them under the building here, and they're having Customs process them and basically apply for them for CVP1, and then they're sending them out as if they came through legally. While that's all happening, right up on this mountain, right behind us here, the cartel, while they're all distracted over here, every single night they're pushing people over this mountain and they're running down here, coming into the community. Last night, I was told that there was somebody came over the wall, they fell, they were injured, and while Border Patrol was responding, there were actually shots fired, as from what I understand, 10 shots fired at Border Patrol. Thankfully, thank God, nobody was hit, but that's the danger that we're facing here. This is what we're dealing with, and the sad thing is, these organizations that are profiting and aiding and abetting this invasion, they're claiming it's legal because they've changed the definition using the CBP1 app. It's still all illegal. They know it's all illegal. None of these people will qualify, but it doesn't matter because it just allows them to come in. So it gets them off the border, gets them out of the camps, makes it look like it's not a problem, and they send that problem to your neighborhood. That's what's happening here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back there, Slow. You there?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah. I figured.
Yeah, man. I was just letting you do your thing, man.
figured I'd just do a couple of clips while you was busy, and I do have one more that I need to share.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an important one. This is a very important one. Joe Biden shits his britches again. As audience laughs, he salutes them. You can't make this up. So yesterday, Joe Biden appeared at a fundraiser for the Biden-Harris campaign, and here we go. You heard that, right? Did you hear it at the beginning? Listen closely. Listen closely. He doesn't even turn around and say, "Excuse me." He just looks around like, "Did I do that?" Everyone's laughing at me now.
Georgia Democrats, please join. That was real. That was not fake. This happened last night in Atlanta, Georgia. So we got to take all this in. Number one, he just farts. So now we know he wears a diaper. Two, he's in Atlanta, Georgia, the state he supposedly won in 2020 with 81 million votes nationwide. He barely filled a cafe. There was maybe 25, 30 people. That's it. Trump in deep blue New Jersey, 100,000 people come out to see him. Ladies and gentlemen, then when he does blow air, everyone starts laughing. He looks confused and salutes the room. But plot twist, there's not a single military veteran in the audience. How is this guy going to debate Trump again? How much crack is Hunter going to have to give him to make him, be able to stand on the same stage as Trump for 10 minutes? Trump 2024.
So once again, Joe Biden is full of hot air with a little bit of an odor.
Oh man, that is priceless.
It is. It is. I mean, I'm serious. Oh my Lord. I was doing a show once. I got to tell you, I was doing a show once at a place in Pennsylvania, and we had set up some low microphones for acoustic guitar, and I turned around, and it wasn't intentional. I didn't know it was going to happen. I bent over to pick up my acoustic guitar, and when I bent over, I let one rip. Okay, but I'm up on stage by myself. There's nobody else there. Okay, so nobody else is smelling it. Okay, but I had to leave the stage. All right, I had to leave. I had to leave my own stage because everybody was laughing. Everybody was laughing. It's just like. I had to leave the stage because that was nasty. It was god awful. It was god awful. All right, where do we want to go next?
All right, so I'm gonna do this last X post that I have here, and it's a pretty important one because the Indy 500 is this upcoming weekend. So I wanted to share with you all something that Attorney General Todd Rokita put out yesterday. So let me start here. I can recall events such as the Super Bowl in past years has been a major child trafficking problem. This year, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita issued a press release in regard to the Indy 500 this year. The Indy 500 is a major event like the Super Bowl. In this major event, he urges everyone to look for signs of possible child trafficking. He urges anyone that suspects child trafficking to call authorities immediately. He also provides a link for victims and their families to use, which is the address confidentiality program to help keep them safe. So I'm going to drop that into the, I'm going to pull it up here so that way you guys can see it. your residents of Indiana. The Address Confidentiality Program. The Office of the Attorney General works to assist victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, human trafficking, harassment, intimidation, and invasion of privacy by helping them return to normal, safe lives. One of the ways the office does this is through the Address Confidentiality Program. The ACP is a free program that allows victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, human trafficking, harassment, intimidation, or invasion of privacy to maintain a confidential address through the Attorney General's office. It is not a witness protection program or an absolute guarantee of safety. It is one more tool that victims can use to take back their lives. So I'm going to drop this in the chat. And you may check with your state's attorney generals to see if you guys have something like that where you're at. And Hawk, I'm going to...
Trafficking has become, it went from a $19 to $20 million a year business in the 1940s, 1950s to it's now well over $180 billion a year industry. It makes more money than any corporation on the planet on a yearly basis. It is very real, and we've been showing this for years, through our podcasts and everything. So, it's but it is our responsibility as good humans to do something about it. When we see something, say something, do something. It's way too important, And the thing that really bothers me, Rick, you're right, but I'm going to expand upon that. Rick says that there's an epidemic of pedos in our country. Yeah, and the thing is that they consider that trafficking. Okay, it doesn't go into the extent of how bad the situation really is. They talk about all these different situations where the cops are doing these busts, these raids, okay, but they're not really recovering the children as we know they are truly being trafficked. We haven't seen anything in regards to that. All we've seen is these little startups that are catching people going to meet people at hotels or setting up a house that people that people are texting to and they think they're going to meet a kid, something like that. I mean, we even had one guy that said that he had planned on eating his victim. Okay. After he got done raping them, he had planned on eating them. Say, I understand these people need to be taken off of the road, but we want the information in regards to the overall, the real trafficking, the real stuff that we know is truly going on. Knowing that this country loses 800,000 children per year. I mean, if you think about that, just in the last 20 years, 800,000 times 20. Okay. That's 16 million children in 20 years. And when you listen to that number, it's like your brain can't wrap around it. But the thing is we need brains to wrap around it because that is the true overall extent of it. And with what we have seen in these last couple of years, I would say that number has probably doubled since this Joker has been in the White House. So go ahead.
Without a doubt. So here is the actual news release. I get these whenever he puts them out. I get them emailed directly to my email, so that way I can share it with everybody. Take screenshots and share it. So watch for signs of human trafficking at the Indy 500. Attorney General Todd Rokita warns race fans. As the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500 is unparalleled as an international sporting event. Unfortunately, large events are known to create increased demand for trafficked individuals providing manual labor, sex for hire, and other services. Attorney General Todd Rokita asked Hoosiers to know the signs, stay alert, and report any suspicion to law enforcement. Spectator events such grand scale are ripe for human traffickers looking for opportunities to carry out their heinous crimes. As we excitedly participate in the greatest spectacle in racing, we need to keep our eyes and ears open for human trafficking as well. By reporting suspicions to local law enforcement, we can help authorities nab these predators and save victims. The following are signs that someone might be a victim of human trafficking. They appear submissive or fearful. They are prohibited from speaking alone to strangers, which, I don't know how that does anything, because if I took my kids there, I wouldn't let them go off with anybody and talk to them without me or my wife being there. They give answers that appear to be scripted or rehearsed. They show signs of physical abuse. Human traffickers can prey on anyone, regardless of their age, race, or background. It is up to all of us to play a role in shutting down this devastating criminal enterprise. People in certain job roles, such as medical professionals, restaurant workers, and hotel employees, are particularly likely to come into contact with trafficking victims. If you have suspicions that someone is being trafficked, call law enforcement immediately. You may also report suspicions to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. In addition to raising awareness, Attorney General Todd Rokita and his team are engaged in efforts to combat human trafficking. And the Office of the Attorney General participates in the Address Confidentiality Program, which helps protect victims of certain crimes, including those who have been trafficked, by concealing their residential address from the public and thereby their victimizers. Look more at the program at the Attorney General's website, and that's what I dropped in the chat a little bit ago. In February, Attorney General Todd Rokita announced that all K-5 students in Indiana would receive a child ID kit in 2024 free of charge to Indiana families. Child ID kits give parents a tool to provide detailed information of photograph, fingerprint, and DNA to law enforcement quickly. Completed kits are kept in a safe place at home out of a database so parents are prepared if the unthinkable happens. Kits will be distributed by superintendents and school resource officers to students this fall. As it happens this year, the Indianapolis 500 weekend coincides with the National Missing Children's Day, which is May 25th. The day is intended to encourage parents, guardians, and communities to make child safety a priority and as a reminder to continue our efforts to reunite missing children with their families. That was a pretty good press release.
Yep. Yes, it was.
So, and I will drop this entire post in the
Dean,
chat.
answer to your question is yes. That's the only way they can get away with it, is if law enforcement is actually involved in covering it up.
And it's not all law enforcement either. It's not all of them. It's the dirty ones.
Oh, there's Dave. Hang on, I'll be right back with you.
All right, man. So there is that. And then I want to hold off on going into some of the other stuff until Dave gets here, if he decides to come in. So well, okay, so these kits right here, all right, like you said, In
He'll
what?
be joining us in 5 minutes.
Okay, awesome.
Those, and I want to talk about those kits for a second. For you, the parent, to have a record, that's great. Okay. But for all these other organizations to have a record, I don't think so. Okay. It's your child was footprinted at birth. Okay. That was all that they needed. They didn't need all this other stuff. Okay. And to me, it seems that they to me it just seems that there's some form of connection between these ID'd children and the children who go missing. To me, there is a very big connection there. And the largest number of children that go missing, I believe, is within a 3 to 4 month period after the states do these identifications for your children. May sound coincidental, but I don't believe in coincidence anymore. I believe everything is for a reason.
Yeah, it's I thought that was important to share because this week, at least here in Indiana, we've got the Indy 500, and that's a really big event. I mean, they shut down a whole portion of Indianapolis just for this. So, that's a big thing. And so it's one of those things that everybody needs to be aware. And if you don't know, and if you want to look out for signs of human trafficking, there are websites out there where you can go to look for signs of grooming, look for signs of this and that, as far as in regards to kids or even adults for that matter, to make yourself more aware. So, I mean, it's not a matter of the information not being there for everybody to see. It's just a matter of going and looking for it. But Todd Rokita is doing quite a bit, though, to combat not only human trafficking, but also he's going after the NGOs. He's also going after the federal government, for overreach. So he's going after a lot of people right now.
So in regards to the topic, in regards to when I was just talking about the busts that are going on all over the country, in regards to these little raids that they're doing, I have a prime example of that here. If you want to pull it up on the screen. Okay. So Green Lives Matter put this out. Breaking: former Red Sox pitcher and 26 others arrested for child sex crimes, but I was told by the mainstream media that was a conspiracy theory. How could this keep happening? The operation broken down here by First Coast News, Operation Valiant Nights. Let's take a listen and if there's audio.
He's on the other side where the camera's not.
Watch out, watch. Wait, you have a firearm on you? It's in that pocket. I'm sorry, please don't hurt me. Alright. What the f***? Why would I do this? Why?
Out, walk straight towards us. All right. Walk straight to me.
Come back here. Come to me. Come to me. Turn around. Any identification pop up?
So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Now we got these little things going on all over the country. Okay, these little busts. I want to know about the big ones. Okay, I want to know about those that have been recovered already, and I want to know what their true needs are. Okay, I'm tired of people blowing smoke up our asses, making us think that we don't know anything that's going on. Okay, when in fact we know a lot more than what they are leading on to. And unfortunately, it seems that we're getting this consistency of being left in the dark. Okay, and things need to speed up. Okay, it's going way too slow. This is going way too slow. Okay, and the thing is it covers so many different things. Okay, you know, we have sat back for the last 7 to 7.5 years now, and have had topic after topic after topic after topic brought to us. Okay, with new information in regards to what is actually truth in regards to these. I understand that all takes some time to learn. Okay, that you know that there is a certain amount of the process that does need to be slow. Okay, but we're 7 years into this. It is time to bring it to an end. Okay, it really is. Okay, the persecution of Trump. Well, let's go into the persecution of Trump for a minute here. Dirty Fani is about to get wiped clean. Fani Willis received a Senate letter. She misused $500,000 given for a youth empowerment program and $2 million designated for a sexual assault kit initiative and used it on travel and personal expenses. Will she be disbarred and charged with embezzlement? Can we call it a Trump boomerang? I don't know, but take a listen.
On May 15th, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis received a letter from the United States Senate highlighting her misuse of $500,000 for a youth empowerment and gang prevention center and $2 million for the sexual assault kit initiative. Instead, she spent those funds on traveling. In light of potential prosecution and disbarment, I respectfully ask Fani Willis to resign, effective immediately.
So there are people that are done with the games. Okay, they are just done with them. I'm going to skip over a couple of these because I want to get into the other ones here where we are going to hear some people speak out. This one here, remind me, I definitely want to hit this one. Okay, that is probably one of the best. But we'll start with the Kash Patel one here. Okay, and this is in regards to the Trump trial. Okay, here we go.
General, my name is Kash Patel, former national security prosecutor, former public defender, and I'm here to tell you, after 6 weeks of unconstitutional trial, we have finally found a crime. Michael Cohen admitted on the witness stand just this morning to 6 different felonies of stealing Donald Trump's money. After 6 weeks of trial, we finally have a crime. We also have a victim. That victim is Donald J. Trump. Michael Cohen admitted under oath to structuring transactions illegally and stealing tens of thousands of dollars from Donald Trump. What's even worse from a constitutional perspective is that the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York knew about Cohen's crimes for 6 years. The Department of Justice with Merrick Garland and Joe Biden knew about Michael Cohen's crimes. The District Attorney Alvin Bragg and his Fantasy Island knew about Michael Cohen's crimes, and he has been charged with 0 of those felonies. The core case of this constitutional circus is the biggest felon in the U.S. history, and Michael Cohen is their star witness. It is a total bastardization of due process. I am honored to be here in support of Donald J. Trump. He is being victimized, but we as a country are being victimized even more by the unconstitutional weaponization of justice and the two-tier system of justice that is on full display. I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to be followed by New York's greatest police commissioner, Bernie Kerik.
Okay, so that's just one of them. All right, let's scroll up here a little bit more. I got more. Come on now. There we go. Okay, is this? Oh, that's a different one. We'll get to that one too. Come on, get over here. There we go. Okay, all right. So let's start off with Donald Trump Jr. Okay.
Well, guys, I had to come down and witness the Bolshevik show trials for myself. What's going on here is an absolute farce, and anyone in America should be embarrassed at the absolute miscarriage of justice that we're seeing here. There's no crime. The only problem is the witnesses who are experts in these things aren't allowed to actually testify to that because you have a rigged system. You have a judge whose daughter is making millions off of this very case. But you know what? That's not a problem in New York City. We're just going to allow it. When our defense goes after arguably the least credible witnesses in the history of, I don't know, witnesses, you're not allowed to ask the damning questions of them. The star witness in this case is a 9 times convicted liar, and now an admitted thief. That is who they're hanging the entire case on. The other one happens to be a porn star. Not exactly the ultimate form of jurisprudence here, but that's what you have. And what it's doing is setting a disastrous precedent for our legal system, for justice in America. If it can happen to Donald Trump, and if they will try to do this to someone like Donald Trump with a platform, hundreds of millions of followers, the ability to fight, they will do it to anyone. They have weaponized this system against their political enemies, and they've started to go down a very dangerous and a very slippery slope. This insanity cannot stand. This kind of bias cannot be allowed to happen in the United States of America or anywhere else. If this was going on right now in a third world banana republic, there would be people screaming about it. You people, the media, would be outraged. Instead, because I presume you're fine with whatever the results are as long as it's against Donald Trump, your silence is deafening and it's disgusting. This cannot stand and it cannot allow to continue.
Don, why'd you feel the need to come down here?
Because you have no choice. You know, again, I wasn't a political guy my whole life. I may have been a conservative. We used to change the skyline of this
city. Yep. All right, let's see what Sebastian.
The incumbent senile old man, and we know that this judge is working on behalf of the Democrats. Why are you hiding this document, Judge Merchan? I'm going to put it on the internet today. What are you hiding, Judge Merchan? Sorry, Governor.
No. Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas. So why aren't you asking the question, when is Michael Cohen going to be indicted? He stole $60,000. Do your job. That should be the headline. Number 2, Alvin Bragg should be indicted. He brought someone as a witness in a case with someone he knew had committed a crime. He should be indicted. So, headline, please. Where are you, Alvin Bragg? Who's going to indict him? Who's going to indict Michael Cohen? Look, we are here to defend our Constitution, our freedoms, and we're here because we are friends of Donald Trump, the President of the United States. And when a friend is in trouble, friends have his back. The way he has been treated, you would see in Russia, you would see in China, you would see in North Korea, you would see in every little tin pot dictatorship across the world. And that's what we have here in New York, in America. If they can go after the former president of the United States of America, who has the ability and the financial resources to fight back, what happens to the average American? What happens to any of you? If the courts in New York come after any of you because of something you said, because you said something the ruling class didn't like. And that's what all these other countries are about. They shut down the ruling class They want to be sure that anyone that speaks up against the ruling class disappears. They want Donald Trump to disappear. They want to send him to jail. They want to take him off the main stage because they know here's their biggest danger to taking the ruling class down. No, you know why? Donald Trump is not the ruling class. Donald Trump is for every New Yorker. He's for every Texan, every state. Donald Trump has put his whole life on the line, for the American people. When he came down that escalator, he probably had no idea that he was going to be called to be the man in the gap to stand up for Americans. And he's standing up for you, even if you don't know it. I don't know who's next.
And he's right. And he's right. Now, this young lady down here, she's got a message, and I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you guys today because she's 100% spot on. 100% spot on. And I'm telling you guys, when you hear this, you're going to be like, whoa, I wish my kid would watch this right now. Take a listen.
I think our parents were right. It was the damn phones. We laughed when we were children, hearing it's that Snapgram and InstaChat and Face Talk. They didn't understand. They couldn't even say it right. I thought I knew better than them. They didn't know what it was like having a world to the tip of our fingers. We scroll through the trash so much we have headlines tattooed on our skin. Wires for veins, AI for a brain, and they may not have understood, but they were right. It is the damn phones. A drug in my pocket dependent on simulation, but can we blame us? We were but children when they were given. We didn't know how to stop it. If I added up all the hours I spent on a screen, existential dread and regret would creep in, so I ignore this fact by typing away. And it's not like I can throw away my phone. It's how we communicate. It's how we relate. It's the medicine that is surely making our souls die. I used to say I was born in the wrong generation, but I was mistaken, for do I not do everything I say I hate? When I look in the mirror, I see a ghost staring back. I try not to think about who I would be without technology. The character behind my phone screen has become self-aware, almost worse than being naive, for I know it's poison, but I drink anyways. We used to be scared of robots gaining consciousness, a lie by the media companies to keep us distracted, as to not ourselves become conscious of the mess that they have created. We are the robots, we are the products, and so I sit and I scroll and I rot on repeat. Sit and scroll and rot until my own thoughts are what's being fed to me on TV, until my own feelings are wrapped in celebrities, until my body is a tool of my political identity, and so I sit and I scroll and I rot. And so I post on the internet how the internet has failed us, that I may not fail my internet presence. I think our parents were right. It was the damn phones.
I don't think it could get any clearer than that right there.
I think our parents were right.
I mean, seriously, I'm going to drop the link for that right now. Here you go. And if I get somebody to drop that over on the Facebook side and up on X, that would be awesome. Yeah, to me, that was just 100% straight on. Yeah, it's happened to everybody. Sorry. It's happened to everybody. It's happened to everybody, even us adults that have become so intertwined in our phones. Okay. That, you just never know. You just never know. This here I wanted to show because of the fact that this is a warning going out to people. All right. If you see this, don't touch it. No matter what. This is going on in Sonoma. I believe that's in, I think that's in California. Sonoma. Is that is California, correct, guys?
Yeah. Pomona's in California.
Okay. All right. Take a watch.
Oh, someone left fentanyl on this dollar. Don't touch dollars like this, bro. Do not touch dollars like this. Wow. This is downtown Pomona. And that's the first sign people do is they'll put fentanyl in a dollar bill. Don't grab that shit, dude. This is a setup. Straight up setup. Careful out there, bro. Be careful out there.
Okay. Now, and the reason that I'm sharing this is because we've seen some other tactics that traffickers use, okay, like with tying the zip tie onto the handle of a car, and then or putting a sticker on the car, these kinds of things. This particular method here is basically, you go and you pull the dollar off, and then if you end up touching your face, or touching your mouth, all of a sudden you just inhaled that drug, and then boom, you know, then it's like, you know, then somebody can scoop you right up, you know. So you know, it just yeah, we have to be very, very careful when it comes to these kind of situations, guys. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop doing what I'm doing because Dave's joined us. Hey Dave, how you doing, brother?
Hey Hawk. Hey Slow, how you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. Say hi to everybody. You got a whole bunch here.
Hey guys, Snetheads, what's happening? Seeds, what's happening? Hey, couple questions, guys. I was trying to add my streams, but we have a two minimum or two maximum.
Oh.
Which are we on Slow's account or yours?
Slow. We're on Slow's account, and I have both the YouTube and the Facebook up as well. So,
but you have more than two available,
right? But I can only select two.
Oh, that's weird. They must have changed it.
Oh,
yeah. I could only add two.
Yeah,
That's
did
why
they change that?
Yeah, because it used to be.
Well, I should come in under my account.
Yeah, if you come in
and
under
you're breaking up.
Yeah, if you come in under your
we
StreamYard
on your-
account, then you can add your X, and I think you can add your Rumble too. He said I'm breaking
Because
up.
it's breaking up every other word.
Yeah, I think it's your internet.
Yeah, I'm not even hearing you guys now.
I think it's your internet, Dave.
Yeah, it's what is the broadcast going through you, Hawk? It's breaking up every other word, and I'm not
No,
even
it's going
hearing
through
you
Slow
now.
Country.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man. It's going under me. It's under my StreamYard.
Dave, reset your router. I don't know if he can hear me. See if he can hear you. See if he can hear you, Slow Country. Tell him to reset his router.
Hey, man, you might want to try to reset your router. Reboot your router.
Whose internet is this going through?
That would be mine.
Shoot.
We're going through Slow Country's internet. Reboot your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I just heard internet.
Check your phone, Dave.
All right, let me try that, and I'll come back. I'll reset and come back in. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
Come in under your StreamYard so you can add your X and your.
Yeah, good idea. Hey guys, I'm getting like half a gig download, and I'm probably at about 20 upload. I think it's on your end. Is it going through Slows or Hawks?
It's going through mine.
And what's your internet speed?
Oh, my internet's good, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, I'll just try to come back in, and maybe that'll fix the problem. All right, guys.
All right.
And I will reset the router too. All right, see you.
Dory, that's actually what I'm doing. I just texted him all that information. So it's
Yeah, so
yeah, because nobody said that I was breaking up or anything before. So I was like, this isn't me this time.
yeah. Typically when something like that happens, if it's on the like since I'm doing the podcast or hosting it, if it was breaking up or whatever on my side, everything on my side would shut down. So I don't think it's anything to have to do with you or me. I think it might be Dave's internet, or maybe he had to reboot his stream.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they have a storm going on down there right now. Let me see. Austin, Texas. weather today. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, they have some. Oh, no, they're just partly cloudy. Yeah, they're just partly cloudy. They don't have anything big going on. Yeah.
So when Dave gets back in here, I'm gonna pull up the CFR again to catch him up.
Yeah.
So that way, I'm not gonna go deep into it like I did a little bit ago, but I'm gonna go over it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that way he is all caught up as far as that's concerned.
So you saw the thing the Social Security Administration said yesterday that it will be unable to pay full benefits beginning in 2035.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Medicare's go broke date is 2036. Sorry, American taxpayers. American government has unlimited money for foreign wars and illegal immigrants, but nothing for your future.
Well, and that's the thing. These morons have robbed it for so long. You know, it's a wonder it's lasted as long as it has.
Yeah. 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 Speaking of schools, schools for children. This guy's got a really good take on education. I think you guys should take a listen to this one while we're waiting on Dave.
Don't think it's easy to make $1 million because they go to school, and school is the worst thing you can send your children to. I said that. The whole school is cool, keep kids in school, that is propaganda, and here's why. Do you know who founded and funded the General Board of Education? John D. Rockefeller. Do you know what he said?
He wants everybody to be employees.
Yep. He said, I am not in the business of making a nation of thinkers. I'm in the business of making a nation of workers. Everything you learn in school, every single solitary thing about how to think, you learn because school has taught you to think that way. They taught you to think like an employee. They taught you to think like a poor person, because if everyone was rich, the economy would fall apart. Therefore, we can't have too many rich people. So what do? We put kids into indoctrination camps to show them how to be an employee. And then they go out in the world and they think like an employee. So they stay an employee. They don't become entrepreneurs. They don't become rich. Why do you think they ask you, raise your hand to go to the bathroom? What kind of sick shit is that? I gotta piss. I gotta raise my fucking hand to go to the bathroom? Like, really think about that. That's fucked up.
And everything that he said is right. Now, you know what's crazy is I remember, Mr. Krieger, he was my math teacher in junior high school. The beginning of the school year, the first thing he said to us is, if you have to go to the bathroom, get up and go. Don't raise your hand. Don't wait for approval. I don't want any accidents. Okay. This guy, and Mr. Krieger, he was a Vietnam vet. Okay. Who became a math teacher straight out of coming out of the military. He was all about the kids, all about the comfort of the kids, because if you were comfortable, your concept of learning became larger. You were in control of how you learned, what prevented you from learning, what prevented you from paying attention. Okay. If you're sitting there with your hand raised because you got to go to the bathroom, okay, then you're not concentrating on the lesson that he's giving, but he was the only teacher that I ever had that was like that. But I wished that every single teacher was like that, because he wanted people to pay attention. All right. So while we're waiting for Dave, let's get a couple more in. Yesterday we started talking about how Australia basically is going through some shenanigans right now, where the politicians have a hookers room. Yeah, a hookers room paid for by the taxpayers of Australia. No different than what we got going on here in our own country. Here we go.
Revelation. He says he knows of prostitutes being brought into the building for the pleasure of coalition MPs.
Having sex, recruiting rent boys.
Prostitutes?
Yeah.
In Parliament House?
In Parliament House. Recruited by staffers for MPs.
Staffers getting male prostitutes to come to Parliament for MPs?
Yes.
How do you think Australians are going to feel finding this out?
I think they'll be pretty appalled.
Brings us to Tom's most startling.
And these are the kind of things going on. And unfortunately, there's not a big enough revelation about this because nobody's talking about it. You know what I mean? Nobody's talking about it. All right. And these are things that need to be talked about, you know, that the ability for people to have a say, you know, about where their tax dollars are going, and turning guns. That's correct. It's not just happening there. It's happening in every country around the world. Okay. And it's ridiculous. California bans fishing for salmon. This is one of the most absurd things I've heard.
Add one more thing to the list that is now banned in the state of California: fishing for salmon. That's right, folks. A bureaucratic commission just voted to not allow sports fishing in the Sacramento area. Following approval by the State Office of Administrative Law, this ban is set to take effect on July the 1st. This just proves that your freedom is a total facade when California can just say, don't go fishing, period. The crazy thing is they're citing a lack of abundance when it comes to fish. And even though federal regulations and rules and laws allow for fishing to continue to happen, specifically salmon fishing, California wants to say, nah, can't do it here. Ban will also apply to the American Feather and Mokelumne rivers. This is the second year that they're taking this away from you. Now, this just proves that they don't even want you to be independent, ever.
And that's and those both of those rivers feed directly through through reservations. So your Native Americans that have been doing this fishing for years are now going to be unable to fish. You know, Annette Graff says, wow, you know, that's bad. Alaskans rely on salmon. Absolutely. They rely on salmon. You rely on salmon and moose. Those are your two biggest harvesters in order to prepare you for your upcoming winter, you know. And in California, they're just going all kinds of crazy. So we've been what's that? Go ahead.
Now, I thought Native American reservations were sovereign and they weren't.
Not the waterways.
Oh, really?
Not the waterways. Yep. Waterways are the state claims those and the federal government regulates them.
Oh, wow. Okay, then.
Yep. So we've been seeing all this stuff on P. Diddy, right? You know, during the raid, the FBI allegedly found tapes of Kim Kardashian drugging high-profile men in order to blackmail them. Oh. Let's take a listen.
In the world of Diddy, I do not know if things can get any crazier. If this girl start talking, it can be the end of P. Diddy. Not this girl, this girl. So if you have not heard, Kim Kardashian allegedly had some videotapes and audio tapes that was actually recovered in the raid at P. Diddy's home. So Kim Kardashian allegedly has been on high-profile individuals to gain access to confidential information such as documents and top-secret information on weapons. Y'all gotta look at this. Look at this.
Closing in on Kim Kardashian. The FBI investigation, initially a tremor threatening her carefully constructed image, has morphed into a full-blown earthquake threatening to engulf her entire empire. Leaked information paints a picture of a woman who allegedly used a seductive facade to mask a ruthless ambition, wielding stolen documents and secrets like weapons. Kim Kardashian has found herself at the center of a sensational scandal, with federal authorities uncovering a shocking plot allegedly orchestrated by the reality TV star. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has disclosed disturbing details, accusing Kardashian of a scheme involving drugging high-profile men in order to pilfer crucial documents for personal enrichment and blackmail purposes.
Yes, you heard that right. They are accusing her of lacing drinks and things of that nature. So this story gets even crazier. Hold on. Watch this.
Saga unfolded when federal agents executed a dramatic raid on the residence of music mogul Diddy, revealing a cache of incriminating video footage. This footage purportedly captures Kardashian engaged in activities that have sent shockwaves through the entertainment and legal worlds alike. In a turn of events that has both stunned and captivated the public, the FBI claims that Kardashian is not only involved in the theft of vital information, but also used it as leverage to further her own interests. The gravity of these allegations has sent ripples through Hollywood.
So at this point, it looked like the feds been keeping up with the Kardashians just like us. So I'm going to keep my ear to the street, and I'll let y'all know what I know. I'm out.
Crazy, huh? Yeah. The Kardashians involved. It's like, whoa, wait a minute here.
We had a feeling they were involved.
Yep. It's, yeah, it's, it almost makes me wonder, what exactly did they do to Bruce? What did they do to Bruce for him to go as far as he has, to become Caitlyn and everything else? What did they do to Bruce? And it's like, I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Let's listen to some more nonsense. Well, actually, this isn't actually nonsense. There is change going on, and there's a change in the air as well, whether anybody recognizes it or not. Real quick, I want to answer the question. Yes, it is kind of a religion for natives to fish for the salmon. But it's the same as the Alaskans. It's the preparation for the fall and winter to bring them through till spring, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's kind of crazy what they're doing. So here we go.
You want to know why you're fucking tired? Because everyone is trying to pretend that everything that is happening in life right now is normal. It's not normal. It is not nearly the same way as it was 20 years ago, but we're trying to act like people aren't fucking depressed, mentally ill. Y'all, it's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war. I have no reason to feel the way that I do, but I feel so heavy, and you want to know why you feel so heavy? Because you're feeling the pain of the collective consciousness, because we're all connected, and there are so many individuals who are suffering right now, because let's stop pretending that money has value. Let's stop pretending that you can go get healthy by going to the doctor's office. If I feel some type of way, I don't even want to go to the doctor's office because I don't trust them, because they're going to sell me fucking pills. Let's stop pretending like any of this is normal. You're trying to live a normal life, and you cannot, because it is not normal. So if you think I'm insane for talking about a huge consciousness shift, for talking about vibrational changes in the energy of our planet, you can. But I'm not fucking crazy, because there is no reason for us to be so tired and feel so heavy towards life. It makes no sense. You're not crazy. Something's happening. Okay?
Something's happening. Oh, yeah. Chicago is getting tired of something happening. They're getting really tired. Mark Carter here. Here we go.
You want to know why you're fucking tired?
For no information. I don't care if
We're not asking you shit.
I'm not asking you for a second. Please step.
Don't ask me nothing.
I'm gonna ask you to please step out.
Oh what?
I'm gonna ask you to please
Oh what?
Or I'm gonna call the police.
Oh, you call who the fuck you want to call?
I wish you touched me. I wish you touched me.
No,
I wish you touched me, sir. Can you please step out?
No.
The footage you're about to watch here on the screen was captured by myself and my business partner, JJ Carroll. We are filming a documentary called What is Treason? Chicago was destination number 2. We wanted to go to the heart of the migration crisis, straight from San Diego, straight to Chicago. so we could show you what treason looks like. This is what we captured.
So this building here, I think it was called the American Club. We had to go and get closer to it. The name of it is on the outside. But this is where they live in this building. They live in this building. And which is right on the side of the federal building, the Dirksen building. You know. We talking the Justice Department is right here. And right across the street is Dick Durbin's office, the U.S. Senator.
He don't care.
So
they live here. How many rooms are in here? Has this been renovated just for that?
Renovated.
Totally renovated,
Yes.
just for illegal aliens.
Yes.
Wait a
So
minute,
the name is on the walls. You can look on the wall to see the name of it.
drop off and pick up.
American Replacement Center.
Let's see if we can walk in.
What is that name? Oh, the Standard Club.
Don't be allowed.
Come on. So you have metal detectors.
Yeah.
You got everything. Beds, cleaning.
Okay.
Private property.
What property is this? Is this for homeless? No? Oh, I didn't know that. We're not allowed to see it?
You are not allowed to record it here.
Why?
That's called us.
But why?
You need to speak to someone. Remember
Nah.
You guys should please step out of the building. This is a private, specific building.
How many people
Funded by my tax dollars, though, right?
I'm not allowed to be
Funded by my tax dollars, right? We're not asking you for
It's a
information.
private building.
We're not asking you for no information.
I don't care if
We're not asking you shit.
I'm not asking you for a second. Please step.
Don't ask me nothing.
I'm gonna ask you to please step out.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna ask you to.
Oh, what?
Or I'm gonna call the police.
Oh,
for
you call who the fuck you want to call?
Go ahead. Hey, call the police for me real quick.
Shit.
Call 911.
Fuck you think you talking to? Okay, who you call?
911. Just call 911.
Chump.
We'll walk out. We're leaving. We're leaving. We're
Who the
leaving.
fuck you want to
We're
call?
leaving.
Thank you, sir, for understanding.
You'll get what you're looking for fucking me. Oh,
I wish you touched me. I wish you touched me.
no, I'm gonna shoot you.
I wish you touched me, sir. Can you please step out of
No.
Step out of the building. Don't worry. Just call 911. That's fine. That's fine. It's no problem. Hey, you're in a private building. You're in a private.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're looking at a 12-story minimum,
Yeah.
12-story building.
No. Way tougher than tough.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Way tougher than tough. Way to keep talking. All you gotta do is keep talking.
Sir, you can't be at my door.
You know what I mean?
Come on, step out of the property, please.
Message is right
I'll show
here.
you what a tough guy looks
My
like.
name's Arturo.
I'll show you what tough
Step
guy
out of the
looks
property,
like.
sir, please.
Oh, you gonna do what?
Please step out of
Call the police. That's all you gonna do.
That's fine.
You gonna call the police.
That's fine.
Right, exactly. Stay in your motherfucking place. Chump.
This is America. This is treason. This is exactly. But see, these guys can walk into our building we pay for, but we can't. You want to understand what treason is, America? This is what's called treason, right here. This whole building has been renovated to house illegal aliens.
Yes.
We just came several blocks away from it. U.S. citizens sleeping in redundant, torn down tents. You got a 15-story building they renovated. We just walked in behind two illegal aliens. They look like they're from Venezuela. They get to walk in, and then we get accosted and yell at and curse that.
And then they call the police.
They call the police, and
shit.
We just walked in thinking, well, can I have some of this free shit?
Right.
Can I have some of it? You and I spent $1,000 at Airbnb. Can I stay in one of those rooms for 3 days for free? And you're gonna pay? I can't even walk into a building that I paid for.
Exactly.
That we paid
My
for.
tax dollars pay you to discriminate against me.
And then you
in
curse
America.
at me.
Right.
And then you threaten to fight me. This is treason, America. You want to know the manifestation of tens of millions of people coming in our country? Your government hates you. They hate you. They hate you. They hate you.
Definitely.
And they hate this man as a black American and me as a white American, but we stand side by side and we scare the hell out of the power structure. Because we are together. America is not divided. The people in power divide us. But we are
America, not them.
Not them. They're not American. God dang it, man.
So let me tell you a little bit about the Standard Club. Now, the shuttered club near the Dixon Federal Building is being used to house over 761 asylum seekers, a number that could grow to as many as 1,200 in the coming months. 1,200 migrants. And we're well past 1,200. I guarantee you that. Now, check this out. And we are rolling out the red carpet to them. While meanwhile, right next door, 10 feet away, 50 feet away, 100 feet away, there are American veterans sleeping on the streets in tents in absolute squalor.
These are called warming buses in the winter. So you'll see the homeless folks down there during sub-zero freezing. They would not let anybody that's not Venezuelan into the center. There's the bus. They just dropped them off. They're going through intake right now. So they're taking people that most likely came in from O'Hare Airport and going through the intake. And then the overflow goes into these warming buses, which are probably called cooling buses in the summertime, right?
Yep.
Here's where the Office of Emergency Management is.
Would you give them that kind of help? $10,000, $50,000 to stay there for a year? But I've been here my whole life. I'm inside the Section 8. I work and not get no money. No one's offering me $50,000.
No help?
I get
Can you
here.
speak up a little bit?
I get here on cold at night. They get to sit on the bus. I've asked to sit on the bus. I've never been to prison. I would like change here in Chicago.
You say you've never been to prison?
No, sir.
And they wouldn't let you sit on a bus?
A very, very cold night. One time I asked, and I just left. No say.
This is extremely important because what you just saw was the feeling of Americans, but in particular here in Chicago, Black Americans. They are humiliated. They're disrespected. Mark, who was showing us around, had to leave because he couldn't take it anymore. You are about to see Chicago and you are about to see America by the summertime. This will be a complete war zone. And I want you to document this and timestamp it. I'm telling you, what I just witnessed is the men in Chicago, particularly the black men, are going to rise up. They have been humiliated and they are going to war. As I'm using their word, they're going to war against this, and there ain't nothing you politicians can do to stop it. I am telling you, America is on the brink,
And unfortunately, we can't argue with anything that he said there. We can't, it's way too, it's becoming way too transparent to us. That they don't care about us, but they sure care about our dollars. We just got a tax hike. Okay. We just got a tax hike, a federal tax hike. Okay. Which is another $1,000 out of every American's pockets. Okay. Yeah, this has gone too far, and, here's a little context to that.
I want everybody to listen to this stat. 9,000 roughly per illegal immigrant that taxpayers are fronting. That's more than we spend per Medicaid beneficiary. That's more than we spend on the most vulnerable American citizen for their health care. That's more than we spend for our heroes, our veterans, in the way of military retirement benefits. So I think for everyone, this should be unacceptable. I believe it is quite avoidable, but this is the real and significant, and at the state and local levels, especially unsustainable cost of the current border crisis. I want everybody to listen to this stat.
I mean, very, very clear that our politicians don't give a flying fuck. Sorry to use that language, but let's go into this one. Locals are destroying equipment being used to build houses for illegal fake refugees near Clonmel, Ireland. The equipment rental company is refusing to providing any more. The government is at war versus the local population. They're just totally destroying these excavators and other equipment. You're not bringing them into our community anymore. That's it. You're done. Yep. Now, this guy's got a different take on all these refugees coming in.
Biden has,
we've talked about this as well, about the blue helmets.
So Biden has decided to deploy UN troops for peacekeeping throughout the United States. Let's TikTok about it. And hey, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am merely reporting the news from a different point of view. Now, I may not be from the show me state, but I am from the fuck around and find out race. And if y'all fuck around, you're going to find out that you should have listened to Japan. That Japanese general said behind every blade of grass is an American with a rifle. Try 2 or 3. Now, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but all of those military-age men coming across the border seems like they fit the description of UN peacekeeping troops. Keep in mind, TikTok, these are facts mixed with opinions. Nothing more, nothing less. So now we should have all come to the conclusion that there is no border crisis. This is all a plot and preemptive strike to get UN peacekeeping troops in place without the American people seeing them arrive on ships. But once again, to any UN soldiers that might be here on a peacekeeping mission, go home. We don't need you. You're only going to piss us off even more if you show your face and try to take over anything or control anyone in this country. We're only going to ask you one time nicely. And this is that one time. Now, fuck around and find out. And to the United States military, if you aid the UN troops in any way, shape, form, or fashion, this could and should be treated as treason, as to you would be helping the enemy capture your citizens.
That final statement is the most important statement of that entire video. If you, the American military, assist these blue helmeted fucks of doing anything in this country, you will be charged with treason and held accountable. There's just no doubt to that. No doubt to that. How bad is it getting? Well, let's take a listen to how bad it's getting.
You would think that in the United States of America, you would have these rights on Memorial Day to have a backyard barbecue. But no, we have House Bill 1615 that is going to limit your ability to cook. They're going to tell you what kind of appliances you have to buy, and then they're going to give the authority to the Environmental Quality Board, the EQB, a group of appointed bureaucrats that are now going to come up with regulations to tell you how you can wash your laundry, wash your dishes, heat your home, cook. We're looking at a time when 1 in 6 households across this Commonwealth are already behind on their utility bills. Here we have another progressive Democrat bill. They say they're for the working class. They're burying the working class.
So on that note, with the UN and all that stuff, I want to make this known. All right, if you've read Chapter 11 of the Law of War, not just 11.3 or 11.4, it actually talks about the UN. That's right. It actually talks about the UN in the updated version from this year. I was going through it the other day, and there are some things in there that are new in there that I don't believe were in the 2015 version of the Law of War Manual. And it kind of really puts you back a little bit and makes you think about everything that's going on. Just like this 32 CFR, that I brought up earlier. Hawk, I hope Dave's all right, man. Because I haven't seen him come back in. And I sent a message to him.
Yeah, I just got a thumbs up from him on resetting your router. But I told him how to do it, so we'll see if we'll see if he gets in here.
But it's unreal, the things that we're seeing. And like I said on Friday, it's almost like it's scripted, like it's all scripted, especially when I showed the 32 CFR and I correlated it to what we've seen since 2020. It's almost like it's scripted by the law, like they're purposely doing things to show people, hey, they're willing to do this to break the law. Now it's up to you people to call them out. So it's one of those things that we got to be looking at the whole picture, the big picture.
Yep. And it is a big picture.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. So Vincent Kennedy says, as we lied to our kids about Santa, they lied to us. They got us good. No more.
This right here is the Bible from 1775 telling us at the time that we used to have 13 months. The first month of the year is March. Look at all the way to the end, guys. There's 13 months. 13 months. First day of the week, Sunday. Second day, Monday. Look at that. Seventh day or Sabbath, Saturday. This is the proof right here.
One of the things Constantine did was because he wanted the pagans to worship God, Jehovah, was he moved the day of worship to the day of the sun, which is why we now worship on Sunday, because Sunday became a pagan day. Well, another thing Constantine did was move the day of Jesus' birth to December, because Tammuz died on December 23rd. And it was believed, because Nimrod, his father, was a hunter, it was believed that Nimrod would be reborn in his son Tammuz. And his son Tammuz's birthday was December 25th. And what you would do on Tammuz's birthday was you would set up a tree. Deuteronomy 16:21. You shall not plant for yourself any tree as a wooden image near the altar which you build for yourself to the Lord your God. It was believed that in order for Tammuz to rise again as his son Nimrod, you'd have to go to the tree, you'd have to cut down a tree from the forest, and you'd have to put balls on it. And the balls were symbolic of testicles. The tree was symbolic of a phallus. Jeremiah chapter 10. Look what it says. Hear the word which the Lord speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord. Do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of the heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with an axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. I hate to bring you bad news.
But your Christmas tree's been deceiving you all these years. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. You know, it's crazy because when we look at all this stuff, we have to ask, how did we get so stupefied? And a lot of that just boils down to it's been drilled into us since we were kids. It was drilled into our parents since they were kids. And it's just ridiculous. Yeah. All right. Shipwreck, one of my favorite podcasters there on X. Shipwreck says, Boeing has yet another incident, but if you think it's all going unnoticed, you'd be wrong. They also can't seem to sell their planes anymore. Uh-oh.
Boeing is done. How airlines are even allowing Boeing planes to be up in the air at this point in the game is beyond me. This happened with Singapore Airlines, and a Boeing plane, a Boeing 777, apparently hit some turbulence. The plane fell a whopping 6,000 feet, leaving a 73-year-old British man unalived. According to people that were on the plane, some people had hit their head on the baggage cabinets overhead and they dented them. They hit the places where the lights and masks are and broke straight through it. Over 30 people were injured. Now, Boeing has come out and offered its condolences again, which they seem to have to be doing a lot lately since 2 of their whistleblowers died in a totally legit way. But if you think Boeing is going unscathed with all of the controversy surrounding it, you'd be wrong. It's hitting their pocketbooks for sure. So Saudi Arabia's biggest ever plane order isn't going to Boeing. As a matter of fact, in the month of April alone, Boeing only sold 7 jets. I read another report where people are specifically asking what type of plane that they are going to be flying on before they book. And if they have to fly on a Boeing, they are not going. If you're flying on a Boeing, you ain't going. Sorry. This is a very serious post. Now, I fully understand that Boeing cannot control the type of turbulence that they are going to be coming into when they're flying in their planes. That's obviously determined by the weather. Pretty sure the airlines have technologies to tell people when they're about to hit turbulence. I've been on a few planes. I think I remember say, hey, we're going to have some turbulence. Make sure everybody's buckled in their seats. And the way that this is sounding, it sounded like they didn't get any kind of warning. So there were a lot of people sitting around with no seatbelts on, which is what caused the problem. When the plane went, they went. Apparently, there's going to be an investigation. I think it really doesn't matter where I decide to go from here on out. I'm going to drive in my gas car.
Yeah. And I think that she's right that people need to go back to old-fashioned travel. Quiz time. Can anybody explain what's happening here? Makes you think. What's going on with our food supply? Why are things so expensive? Why is this, and that? And now you see it, All right. This is Republican Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar. Let's see what she's got to say outside the Trump.
Regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what you feel about him, regardless whether you're going to vote for him or not in November, Donald Trump is not the only one going through trial. We all are. The reason why I'm here is because thousands of my constituents back in Miami are terrified when the courts in this country are used as weapons to crush our political enemies. Regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what you feel about him, regardless whether you're going to vote for him or not in November.
Yep. Regardless of all of those things, it's the overall, that need to be looked at, Welcome to Gavin Newsom's California. Gavin thinks this is great and wants this for the whole country.
Sleeping soundly, unaware that they are sleeping right by a busy road. This couple seems carefree and casual in their approach. They're sleeping.
This is what's going on in California. Oh boy, I'm telling you. Snakes and vipers around Trump in Congress. Bannon says, I appreciate the show of force, but...
Remember the snakes and the vipers that are coming around him now in the Senate and the House? Up there walking to the mics. Hey, they have some folks that are walking to the mics. I appreciate the show of force, but it seems to me that some of these people are up there just performative to get in front of the mic. They're not MAGA. They're certainly not hardcore Trump people. And hardcore back when you're a Trump person, you back the America First agenda. You back the agenda of President Trump and MAGA and America First. And oh, by the way, American citizens first. Remember the snakes and the vipers.
Yep. The snakes and the vipers. They all come out. What was that old song? I don't like spiders or snakes.
Oh, yeah. Old Jim Stafford.
Yep. And that ain't what it takes to love me. You fool. Yeah, it just seems to keep going. All right.
Yeah,
This is so another plane. Here we go. With a 7,000 foot descent. This is why you always wear your seatbelt, folks. $7,000 descent, immediate from turbulence. Not something to joke about. Steve Inman says, boop. Now, Steve Inman, he's a funny guy. He does this commentary of street fights and things like that. He does a pretty good job.
Welcome to a biker rally in Brazil, and even Brazil has their fair share of soy boys. This guy's virtue signaling, thinking these guys are Nazis, but ends up taking a bitch slap to the dome and runs away like the soy bitch he is, cowering in the corner, now covered in soy piss. Maybe he hates bikes, and anybody who rides a bike he thinks is a Nazi because he disagrees with them. You can see they point the freaking soy boy out. They're like, soy boy detected. And they're like, don't worry, sir, I got your 6. He thinks just because he's wearing a Nazi shirt that it's going to save the world. Well, guess what? Your mask can't even save you from this bitch slap from hell. It's amazing how tough these idiots are until somebody confronts them and then they run away like a little soy bitch, like they always do. Now, word from Ludacris.
Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch.
Oh, sometimes you just got to have a laugh with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
All
man.
right. All right. This is the exact response on what would happen at my home.
You mind if we ask you a quick question?
Sure, go ahead. What you got?
We're doing a survey and we're asking people, what would you do if somebody broke into your house with the intentions to rob and harm your family?
Oh, I'd call 811.
811? You mean 911?
No, 811, because I'm going to need to know where to dig a hole.
You might.
I like it when they put funny stuff in my feed. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's, it gets there.
This is Dragonfire, the UK's first laser weapon. Able to shoot down drones and missiles with incredible accuracy, it could revolutionize how we fight wars. And this isn't an idea decades away, we're building it right now to fit onto our warships in just 3 years' time. Rapid delivery of this incredible feat of British innovation is only possible because the government has this week reformed the way we procure for our military. So we'll be faster in getting our weapons into the hands of our soldiers, sailors, and aviators years ahead of schedule. And through these reforms, we'll build more lethal British armed forces to defend the United Kingdom from threats at home and abroad.
This guy's a tosser. Yeah. I just saw that. Did you see that pop up there, Slow Country?
What was that?
The pop up about your signal?
No.
Yeah, it just came up and said that you're having trouble receiving. So Q stated that there will come a time when they, the swamp, won't be able to walk down the street. This POS obviously didn't like how the DJT witch hunts are panning out.
Norm, exactly the guy I wanted to speak to.
Sorry, I'm on a call.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're a fucking liar who set this all up and Costello just exploded your bullshit. You're going to jail, bro. What's the matter?
Officer, this gentleman is harassing.
I'm not harassing him. I'm asking him questions. This is a guy who's lied to set up this whole trial. Norm, I'm not harassing you. I'm asking about how you've lied to set up this whole trial, how you've obviously coerced Michael Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels out of his own money. That's exactly what Costello testified to, and that you're lying about, Norm. Why are you lying, Norm? You are destroying this country. You know that? You're going to go to jail, Norm. Jail, Norm. They like guys like you in jail. You know what happens to you in jail, Norm?
And that's exactly how we want them. We want them running. We want them running for their flipping lives. We want them running for their flipping lives. That's what we want, you know, not just a little bit, but all the time, you know, and it's just, yeah, all too serious. All right. Yeah.
So
yeah, go ahead.
There's a message from Turning Guns on my thing.
Yeah.
In the chat, it says YouTube is blocking comments. I haven't seen them blocking any comments, but
yeah, well,
however,
they
probably on
can't.
their
Stop it. Yeah, they can't stop it from coming to StreamYard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the YouTube, and it is YouTube people, not any of our mods or anything who are deleting comments.
Oh, and which brings me to another point. Typically, I don't get involved with what's being said in chat unless it's just so off the charts that it's ridiculous. If you guys are seeing something, and I've got a text message from somebody a little bit ago talking about it. If you see something that you don't like or you think is wrong, just put them in time. Y'all mods. I mean, I have that like that for a reason, you know, so that way you guys can police yourselves. You know, it's kind of a free speech kind of thing. Like I said, unless it's absolutely stupid, right, to where, you know, it's just going to get everybody in trouble, just let it be, you know. But
yeah, you don't have to read every comment that goes by.
You know,
is basically what he's saying. You know, if you don't agree with somebody's opinion, just move on. Just move on. Don't dwell on it. Okay, because all that's doing is taking energy away from your space. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, it's up to you to moderate yourself. Okay. At the same time that it's our responsibility to protect you from harmful things. Okay. And then the other thing is you guys also have to realize that some people are more awake and have done more research than you have. And they have a different viewpoint on how they see things. Okay. And we have to understand that, yes, that is the case with some people. Okay. And we, you know, just because you don't agree with what that person is saying does not mean that what they're saying is not factual. Okay. So sometimes you have to take a step back, take a deep breath. And if you have to ignore, then ignore that person.
Now, if I'm not saying if it's something ridiculously stupid not to say something or do something, but at the same time, I pride myself on free speech. The only things that I have ever blocked in my chat ever since I've been doing lives were things that were absolutely so stupid and hateful towards another person, or if they were bots. And you can always tell the bots. Yeah. So that's the only time that I've ever really done anything as far as that's concerned, because I believe free speech is free speech. No matter whose feelings it hurts, it's still speech and it's protected.
Yep. Yeah. You know, and the thing is each and every person that's in chat, you have the option. There are 3 little dots next to a person's name. And you can choose to ignore, and you'll never see their comments again. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, it's you shouldn't worry about whether the the mods are deleting comments or things like that when you have the ability to do it yourself. Okay. And just, you know, so if somebody's annoying you, then just put them on ignore. Okay. You don't have to see their comments. You don't have to interact with them. Okay. Make your space as comfortable as you need to. Okay. And you know, we want to give everybody the opportunity to speak freely. Okay. You know, and like he said, you know, as long as you're not putting direct hate towards an individual or anything like that, then you know, then we're good to go. You know,
Yeah.
It's that simple. All right.
So I don't know if Dave is coming back. But I know I got to leave in about 45 minutes or so. So, Hawk, do you want to go on for a little bit with you, or do you want? Or do you
Well,
want me to
no,
finish?
we can go ahead and shut this down, and I'm probably going to go live about 1 o'clock this afternoon. I got a couple of things to do. I still got a little bit of sunshine here. I need to get the oil change done on the generators and get them refueled for the day, and get my freezer cleaned out because without the gas this weekend, I got to throw away all the meat that I had in the freezer. So I've got to start the burn barrel and get that up because I don't even want the dogs eating it, you know. So, yeah.
But yeah, so going through with some of the digs that I, you know, went about in the description this weekend, you know, the CFR was just one of them. When I put everything together, you also have to remember one of the things from the CFR, which was the I'm trying to remember the terminology I used in the post. Let me go up here real quick. Now I've got to look at it. But it was kind of weird the way everything went in. Oh, yes. I was talking about occupation. Okay. Occupation. So, whether it was unknowingly or it was on purpose, does everybody remember the Colorado Supreme Court decision with blocking Trump from the ballot? Does everybody remember that when it went to the Supreme Court? Now, if we look in the background, I'm going to open this in a new tab so everybody can see it as soon as I pull it up on the screen here. I just want to show you guys this if nobody caught on to it. On November 7th, 2020, Joe Tato was elected as the 46th president of the United States. President Trump refused to accept the results, but President Biden now occupies the office of the president. There's your occupation clause.
Yep. Keyword occupies.
Like I said, whether it was intentional or whatever, I don't know. I just know that that's in there. So I can close out all these. Go back here. And then Ingersoll Lockwood. Okay. Ingersoll Lockwood had some really interesting stuff. Hawk, I sent you one of the, or two of the songs that they put out.
Yep. I played one of them. The second one I didn't play, and I'm not going to. Yeah, the second one's kind of that punk rock stuff, and yeah, I'm just not into it. Yeah.
But there was one on Friday that came out, and if you want, I'll play it for you guys again. But when you hover over the rabbit, there's a message at the bottom that says, Red, White, and Blue. Who is Junior 2024? Very interesting. Very. So if y'all want, I can play it real quick. I know I played it on Friday. It's like 2 minutes long. Not a big deal. But yeah. And then if you go over just a little bit, there's if you highlight the page, there's a section of hyperlinks, and there's one that says dig deeper. Okay, so if you click on the hyperlink, it takes you to this right here. Let me maximize that so that way you guys can actually read it. So there's the song title, Red, White, and Blue, and there's the link to it. Okay. But if you look here, the year is 1717. The length is 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Publisher, Ingersoll Lockwood. You can't make this up. So now, if I go in here, let me bring it up here. Let's see here. That took me, that correlated with post 4311. Okay. Which is really odd. But where is it? Window. There we go. Okay. Hawk, who is that?
Oh, I do not remember his name, but he was involved in a lot of stuff.
And
but the guy walking away is John Kerry.
If we look at the date, May 24th, that's a Delta coming up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the shadow presidency of Barry Soetoro.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him for what he is.
That guy just got done meeting with John Kerry. And there's actually a video of their conversation. And it lays out what Kerry has been up to all this time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh, man. And then also,
don't forget, you got to do share screen again because you dropped that down.
Yeah, I know. And also, I've been seeing a lot of the stuff about the blockchain coming out. Okay, which I talked about it on Friday. Not a, it is a big deal, but it's not. We seen it coming a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, it was introduced last week or the week before, and this is coming on the cusp of also the end the Fed bill that Thomas Massey put out.
Yep.
Which is really, really interesting because that means blockchain would essentially take over. So, and it's actually in regards to the financial system, and it's a decentralized network. So, really interesting stuff. And then also, if we go to Ingersoll Lockwood, let me find it. The thing about Junior, okay, going back a little bit here. Brings you up to Jim Brewer. And there was another one, another hidden link that kind of threw me off, which was that interview with RFK and the message in the chat saying, hey, if JFK Jr. is alive, touch your nose. And then he touched his nose, and everybody made a big deal about it. And for those that don't know, I'll go ahead and play it here so that way you guys can see it.
I'm very curious about the JFK Jr. And just hear me out. Maybe RFK Jr. was messing with people. But during COVID, he did a live stream. And when he did the live stream, he was talking with someone. And you see the questions going up. And he's reading the questions. And as he's reading the questions, one of the questions in capital letters says, is JFK Jr. alive? If he is, touch your nose. And RFK Jr. clearly reads, you see him, he reads the question and then he goes like this, bloop. He didn't itch his nose. He didn't go like this. He went like this. Watch this video and you tell me. I wanted to ask him so badly, but I thought, I almost feel like it's one of those clubs like,
Right. That's
what
like
I know.
That was like when I handed my demo tape to Liberty DeVito, drummer in Billy Joel. He was like, oh.
Yeah, it's like,
go there.
You
go there.
You know that video. You know that I know about this video, and I'm not going to bring it up. You're not going to bring it up. But if we ever get a chance again, maybe in person, whatever, I'd like to question you about this. Play the tape.
You know, this is extraordinary on so many levels. The Deitch memo. And this memo.
It's right there.
Touch it right there. Touch your nose.
The Deitch memo
and watch.
Is one of those.
He reads it.
It's a discovery document. It was given to me by
What is
one of the original lawyers in vaccine.
What? Now, is he playing with you? There's.
So just interesting, and like I said, that was one of the hidden hyperlinks on that thing. So now going back to the Law of War manual and all that stuff that I was talking about earlier. I would like to direct your attention to this. All right, so we have the DoD Law of War Manual. So let me blow this up a little bit. So let me do it this way. I got to go to page 873. So hopefully everybody can read that. Hawk, what's everybody been saying about currency?
Oh, that it's devalued?
Yeah.
It ain't worth crap? Yeah.
The occupying power may leave the local currency of the occupied area in circulation. The occupying power may also authorize domestic authorities to reissue currency if necessary for ensuring public order and safety. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors out there about changing the currency over. And now we've got that bill going through for blockchain. And we've also got the bill going through for end the Fed. So I just want everybody to think about this for a minute. The occupying power may introduce its own currency into occupied area or issue special currency for use in the occupied area territory, should the introduction or issuance of such currency be necessary. There is a long history of issuing such war currency. See, war equals conflict. We were just reading about that in 32 CFR. The issuance of occupation currency may be necessary to counteract the enemy state's practice of engaging in economic sabotage. Hawk, your thoughts?
Well, it's basically it's the whole country is being sabotaged right now.
The occupying power may also set exchange rates for currency in occupied territory. The occupying powers to regulate currency must not be used to confiscate private property. For example, intentional debasement of currency by the establishment of fictitious valuation or exchange rates or like devices, as well as failure to take reasonable steps to prevent inflation, with the result of enrichment of the occupying power would violate international law. What are we seeing? I mean, just what are we seeing, folks? Seriously.
I'll be right back. I got to figure out what's going on out here.
Okay. So now there's something else here. 11.23. 11.23.1. General authority of occupying power to regulate commercial intercourse. Yeah, and Hawk just played that video earlier. The occupying power has the right to regulate commercial intercourse within, into, or out of the occupied territory and may be subject to such intercourse to such prohibitions or restrictions are essential to the purpose of occupation. The occupying power may also remove existing commercial restrictions or regulations when essential to the purposes of occupation. So, and it's talking about curbing and preventing black markets, regulating labor conditions and strikes. So there is quite a bit here. And we also seen this with the COOF, okay? Control of business in the territory, right? The occupying power may exercise controls over private business for the purpose of addressing the needs of inhabitants of the occupied territory for military purposes, including compelling continued operation of a business, granting business subsidies, closing down a business, or assuming control management of a business. The occupying power may take steps to increase production from private business, such by granting subsidies out of available governmental revenues from the occupied territory. Didn't we see that with the ventilators? Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it seems kind of fishy to me. Now, if we go to 11.6, so let me go up to 11.6 real quick, which we seen on the post about Huma. Okay. Let me find it here. There's 11.9. 11.8. 11.7 and 11.6 is where I'm at now. So 11.6 has to do with the protection of the population of an occupied territory. Under the law of belligerent occupation, the occupying power has certain duties with respect to the population of an occupied territory, including protected persons under the Geneva Convention. So there's a lot there. A lot. 11.6.2, overview of additional protections for the population that are specific to occupation. There are a number of protections for the population of occupied territory that are specific to occupation. For example, specific provision exists for the protection of children. the protection of children in an occupied territory. What are we seeing now? The children. Everything is starting to come out about the children. Specific constraints exist on the authority of occupying power to punish protected persons, direct their movement, or compel them to perform labor. Provision is also made with respect to food, medical supplies to the population, public health and hygiene, spiritual assistance, and relief efforts and consignments. And this is a big one. I really love this one. 11.6.2.1. Prohibition on compelling inhabitants of occupied territory to swear allegiance to the hostile state. It is forbidden to compel the inhabitants of an occupied territory to swear allegiance to the hostile state. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat here, because if I go through it, it's going to take hours, hours and hours and hours. So, and here's this: prohibition against general penalties in the occupied territory. No general penalty, pecuniary or otherwise, shall be inflicted upon the population on account of the acts of individuals for which they cannot be regarded as jointly and severally responsible. Such penalties are prohibited even if authorized under the law of the occupied territory. So, I mean, it is really, really interesting. This whole, this new document right here. Well, it's not really new, but they redid it last year. It kind of freaked me out at first because I didn't see 11.3 and 11.4, and it went straight to 12. Then I realized, oh wait, I'm all messed up here because they're counting up on the points, and yeah. So there was something else here. Oh, and do we remember the posts that say no deals? No deals? The occupying power may not enter into any special agreements that would adversely affect the situation of protected persons, as defined by the Geneva Convention, nor restrict the rights of the Geneva Convention confers upon them. No deals. So yes, it's quite something.
No deals.
No deals. Did you hear that? Did you hear what I read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had myself muted because the dogs were barking.
Yeah. No deals. I thought that was interesting when I read it. No deals. And where have we heard that before?
Oh, I remember a certain place.
I remember a certain place also. Censorship and other regulation of media under the law of belligerent occupation for the purposes of security and occupying power may establish censorship or regulation of any or all forms of media, like press, radio, and television and entertainment, theater and movies, of correspondence and other means of communication. For example, an occupying power may prohibit entirely the publication of newspapers that pose a threat to security, or it may prescribe regulation for the publication of or circulation of newspapers or other media for the purposes of fulfilling its obligations to restore public order. Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
Has anybody actually read through all of chapter 11? I mean, they see that 11.3 and 11.4, but and 11.6, but they go beyond that scope. So, local governments under duress or surrogate governments. That's an interesting one, too. Like I said, I dropped it in the chat for you guys to look at. It's one of those things that we need to be looking at. Immunity of occupation personnel from local law. Military and civilian personnel of the occupying force and occupation administration and persons accompanying them are not subject to local law or to the jurisdiction of the local civil or criminal courts of the occupied territory unless expressly made subject thereto by competent officer of the occupying power. So, like I said, this whole thing is really, really interesting. And it also says, let me go back up here. In the past, provost courts have used for these purposes in recent practice the UCMJ and the Military Extraterritorial Jurisdiction Act, along used to address offenses committed by military and civilian personnel in the context of occupation. And what that's basically saying is basically if you are a civilian member of the government or the military, you are subject to UCMJ for these purposes. So yes, very interesting stuff. Oh, it looks like Dave might got his internet back.
Is he here?
No, he just messaged me on Signal. So this whole thing is really interesting. So really, really interesting. Hawk, I'm going to drop this in a private chat for you. So that way you have it also. This is the updated version. So let's see. I already went over that. I went over that. And I went over that. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh.
So I just told Dave I have like 20 minutes left before I have to take off. So I don't know if he's going to be coming back or not. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that really everybody should be looking at, you know, because if this is all a plan like we've been told it is, I think the plan is outlined between the CFR and the law of war, you know, so
yeah, we'll have to see.
We will have to see. But I think it's interesting how things seem to be corresponding with each other.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to jump down and let you end yours. Guys, I will see you later on this afternoon. It's probably going to be around between 2 and 3. I might go live right around then. No, I'm not going to guarantee it though. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to get done here. A lot of projects I started yesterday, but the oil change, that's the biggest one I've got to get done today. Because now that I got fuel, I need to make sure the generators are going to run all right. So, thanks for joining us, and we will see you later.
Yes. Thanks for coming up, Hawk. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Get done what you got to get done too.
Yeah, man. All right. So, folks, I appreciate everybody coming in. I really do. And listening to my rants and tirades and all that stuff. I hope that I was able to show some, people some different points of view on different things. And hopefully I could attempt to somewhat put some of the puzzle together for you. But I have all of the links that I used on here, except for my X, except for the X stuff, and I posted those in chat. But you can go to my X, you can see it. It's all there as far as the posts go, and the posts I went over. But the links that I used for the stream are in the description underneath the title. So, they're there for your reference and all that good stuff. So with that being said, I wish you all a great afternoon. Have a safe and happy Memorial Day if I don't see you before then. And peace. I'm out of here.